Over the last couple of years, there has been so much talk about the idea of quiet quitting at work. And I think the less talked about issue related to quiet quitting, but the one that's most important, is that people are starting to quietly quit on life itself. Now at work, that might mean doing the bare minimum, cutting back on things that aren't important, just coasting by. But in life, it could look like giving up on your passions, right? Allowing the frustration, the stress from work cause you to just give up on things outside of work as well. And that is not just dangerous for our happiness and our joy, but is just a depressing reality that I think you see a lot in people who are just fed up with the work environment. So I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, when it comes to quiet quitting, are we extending that too far? Are we quiet quitting at work, but then also quiet quitting at life? Or are we allowing work to take up so much of our life that we're quietly quitting in life and not quietly quitting at work? On this channel, I try to talk about career advice, but even beyond that, how to make life work for you with careers in mind. I think a lot of people get their priorities wrong. And so I like to give advice or opinions on what I think a better balance of work and life is. And if that kind of content is content that you enjoy or you feel like you need in your life, please like and subscribe. Today I want to focus on what quiet quitting might look like outside of work, why this seems to be happening to people, and then 4 ways that we can re-engage. So what does quiet quitting really mean? A couple of years ago, this buzzword kind of exploded in the workforce and was really just a way of identifying people who had disengaged at work. Now, this is not a new concept. I've always heard of them called as on-the-job retirees, right? People who are there, no ambition, they're not going to do anything, they're not going above and beyond, they're just collecting a check and moving on. But the corporate world loves to come up with new buzzwords, so is quiet quitting. The issue now is that that does not seem to be just a work-related issue. It's not necessarily that people are just checking out at work and then going and living fulfilled and happy lives. It seems that people are trying to check out at work, or maybe they're not checking out at work, but then they have nothing but stress and frustrations in their lives. And ultimately, people are starting to just give up on everything because you can't afford anything, you can't do anything. And I think it's just taking a mental toll on a lot of people. When it comes to quiet quitting in life, I think the things that you can look for is, are there just constant distractions, right? Are you endlessly watching TV, scrolling through social media, allowing distractions from other people to just fill your mind all day, every day? Have you lost curiosity? Are you no longer seeking adventure or excitement in your life? You're just numb and just going through the motions as they come and not really curious about new things, not interested in doing something different. Are you just settling, right? Are you just settling for relationships, right? You're not out there trying to meet new people. You're just comfortable where you are. Are you settling on your health? Maybe you used to work out and now you're just not. You just hang out at the house. Are you settling in areas where you used to be very motivated and driven? It's the sports equivalent of sitting on the bench while the game's going on, right? You're close to the game. You're technically in it. You're a player, but you're not really participating. You're not doing anything. If that's you, then you might be experiencing some quiet quitting on life. And here's where I think a lot of people get it wrong. Quiet quitting can seem like you're taking control back, right? When we think of quiet quitting in our careers, for many people, that's exactly what it was. You were tired of the corporate grind. You were tired of working and working and working for no return. So quiet quitting was a way to take control back. But that's not the case when it comes to life itself. When it comes to life, quiet quitting actually drains you more. Right? If you've ever had a day or two where you're real productive in life, right? Maybe you exercise, maybe you read a good book, maybe you went out into the community and met with friends, or you whatever it is, versus 2 days where you're sitting at home, doom scrolling through social media, watching TV all day. Life feels much different. So even when you're quiet quitting in life, it's actually more draining. It's the opposite of the work version of quiet quitting. But there are definite reasons as to why people start to quiet quit in life. The first reason is burnout and exhaustion, right? When you're burnt out and you're exhausted at work, especially today when it feels like it's all for nothing, it's easy to allow that to spill over into your everyday life. The second reason is similar to that, is that this system is broken. The dream that we all were promised when we were young is dead. This idea of getting a good job, working, retiring, it just feels dead, right? Most of us can't afford houses. You can't afford to do the things you want to do. And the only way to be able to afford them is to work more. And when you work more, you don't have time to do the things that you're trying to earn money to do. So it feels like an endless cycle of, almost some kind of meaninglessness. And I think that drives people towards quiet quitting, even in life. The third reason this happens is comfort zones. When you're comfortable, you don't feel like you need to get out and do anything, right? So if you're starting to lose some of that curiosity and some of that drive, it may be that you found yourself in a spot of comfort. You've quietly quit at work. You've slowed down. And now you're just settling into a level of comfort. And for some of you, that may be okay, right? Maybe you are in a good spot. And it is good to feel comfortable and to slow down. But for others, you may be slowing down too soon. There might be a lot more life out there for you that you're giving up on way too quickly. And then the fourth reason is that our culture is a trap. We fall into these cycles of work hard, earn money, spend that money, repeat. And ultimately, it all comes up short. The more money we earn, often the more money we spend. The money we spend doesn't make us happy, so we try to go work hard to get more money, to spend more money to make us happy, but it doesn't work. So we go to work, we work hard, we spend more money, and it's just a never-ending cycle. The truth is that we need to shift to a different way of living and a different way of thinking. And I think there are 4 things that we can do to help get us re-engaged in life, so that yes, we can quiet quit at work if we need to, but we can also maintain engagement in our lives. The first thing that we can do is to set personal goals that have zero to do with work. A lot of times quiet quitting stems from a terrible work environment, so set goals for yourself to pursue that have nothing to do with work. It'll help you keep engaged. You can set goals on healthy things that will get you in a better mindset. And ultimately, you can disengage from work while still having something to pursue in life. The second thing we can do is to try something new every week. And this could be small or big. Read a new book, eat a new food, go to a new place, try to make a new friend. Something to break you out of your comfort zone by doing new things. It can be reinvigorating in life, or it could end up being an absolute nightmare. And if it's a complete nightmare, try something different next week. The third thing that we can do is to reconnect with people, right? Go back to church, find your old high school friends, reconnect with past friends that you had, build those relationships back up. It might be that if you're quiet quitting on life, maybe you've started to distance yourself from some of those friends, and there's work to do to get that connection back. Start doing that work. And then the fourth thing is to redefine success. Success in the long run should be life-focused, not work, not titles, not pay. What does success look like for you beyond the titles, beyond the pay, beyond the job? And then start to pursue that again. Or start to find areas where maybe you already are successful. It's just not something you've considered success in the past. I know for myself, a lot of times I'll look at career and I'll think of success in that way. But then when I step back, I think I've been married for almost 20 years. I've got 3 kids that are all healthy and happy. So in those regards, I'm very successful, whether I ever had a good career or not. And this is the shift that changes everything. Quiet quitting at work may be a correction of sorts, but quiet quitting in life is often just a mistake. I think a lot of times quiet quitting at work makes sense. We're operating within a broken system that does not reward people the way it should, and often the way we think it should. But when that same mindset shifts over into life, we lose a lot more. We can lose connection with people. We lose our relationships. We can lose our mental or physical health. I mean, you can have a lot of negative things come out of quiet quitting on life. So we have to be really careful about that mindset and not let it spill over from work into our lives. I hope this video encourages you. If you have realized that you're quiet quitting on life, do some work to get yourself back into a good spot. And hopefully you can come out of this. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.